Hello everybody, we transferred both myself, who's gone from Sky Sports to the BBC, and Ask Guillem as well. It used to be a feature that we did on Fridays when I was in Sky, and we're gonna keep it going. So I've asked in the last 24 hours for some of your tweets, and I got some interesting questions. To be honest, some of you know a lot of football. So let's start, for instance, with at Tom Wizard, who asks, do you think Spain has the highest number of talented players in football? I'm not sure that is the case, but certainly talent, if it's something you're born with, it can appear anywhere. But they're very well prepared. We've said this for so long now. Coaches in Spain have got so many layers. They give you information that is tactical, that is technical. They work on the psychology, of course, and group dynamics, a lot of things that make players better prepared to give solutions when there are problems on the pitch. So you can replace perhaps the lack of talent in some cases to hide that and still be relevant. Or you can reinforce some of your strengths. If it's pace, how can you also use it cleverly? Intelligence, that's the best thing you can define a Spanish player as. I don't think we're the most talented, but certainly it looks like we're one of the best prepared players, bunch of players around. Talking of which, we're going to be talking about Saul and Manchester United and Everton, but perhaps I'll leave that later because there's a tweet related to that. So another one comes from Fionn Duffield. Says, are Real Madrid and Barcelona really short of cash? If so, could this be good for the league as a whole? They're not short of cash. The problem is that expenses are very, very high. Two different reasons for it. Until recently, 84% of the money that Barcelona was bringing in, and they are one of the top three richest clubs in the world, is going into wages. So that keeps them a little bit hamstrung. They cannot go and break the bank every season like they did with Dembele and Coutinho. They did that, and they're young for a reason. They want to keep this squad for a little while, and they knew that that investment meant that they won't be able to make that sort of investment in the near future, not yet anyway. Real Madrid, they want to build a new stadium or rebuild the stadium they've got, which means that they want to keep a lot of the money that's coming in into that. If you have a look, they haven't bought a Galáctico since 2014, that was James. So it's not that they lack money, they want to use it in a different way. But again, they cannot compete really in the market with Manchester United, now even PSG, and all those guys that have got more money at their disposal than Real Madrid and Barcelona, because as I said, they use that money for different reasons. And in the case of Barcelona, they need to improve their income to be able to actually compete in the market from now on. They've done it until now. They lost on some players, but to compete in the market from now on, they need to bring much more income. So Oracle says, why do blinkered, shallow-minded, misinformed football fans, mainly Man United fans, claim that Manchester City have bought success? In the past, United monopolised the transfer market, spending big while we fed on the scraps. It's a new boy. It's a new rich club. So of course they're going to try, anybody who's not a Manchester City fan, they're going to try to undermine their efforts. To actually get to the level of Manchester United, the richest group in the world, you have to spend money. There is no other way. To actually win and have players that perform straight away, you have to spend a lot of money. You have to spend a little bit less money if you get players that are developing and that you think that you can make them better. So Manchester City are not breaking records in terms of the biggest signings. Others have done that, say, Pogba in its day. But they're buying players, the best players around, young players, to develop them under Pep Guardiola. They're not all young, but some of them, the ones that make Pep Guardiola feel that he can create a little bit of an era at Manchester City, they're young, and with him they're getting better. Manchester United fans are hurt, obviously. They're not winning. So it's normal that they're trying to undermine anybody else winning. Manchester City are doing it the way they think they can do it. It's a sustainable way they feel, and I've got the impression that remember the two things that Manchester City have asked Pep Guardiola to do. One, to create an era of success in the Premier League that means winning 3 out of 5 titles. The moment is 1 out of 2 in 2 seasons, so 3 out of 5, he can get it there. And the second one is to be competitive in Europe. That means, in their eyes, to be top 4, one of the top 4 sides in Europe. And they are in the process of doing that, but they need to give that step forward. And to actually be able to do that, you have to develop through coaching, you have to buy players too, because everybody else is doing that, and that means spending a lot of money. So, another one from Shola, he says, is it a bit immature, did I say, unprofessional for Luis Enrique to leave out Jordi Alba because of differences they had at club level? Obviously the results against England and against Croatia means that Luis Enrique has been vindicated on that decision. But I think Luis Enrique wanted to leave a message out there as well. This is a team, this has been run almost like a football club, which is something that the Federation has done for a while, but which means as well that I want everybody to go in the same direction. Now, Jordi Alba has been humbled, and that is important. Jordi Alba is not one to be humbled usually, or that he likes to be humbled. And I think Luis Enrique may call him up in the future. But right now, it was a decision that had to do with discipline and group dynamics. Luis Enrique is very good at that. At the same time, if he makes mistakes, he admits it as well. That's not usual on our manager. He said he should have called out Iago Aspas. He realized that he hadn't at first, and he realized he should have when he saw him training. So nobody's perfect, but I think on that decision, he wanted to make a personal impact, Luis Enrique. Nathan Smith is saying, what have you seen in Emery's Arsenal thus far? Work. And I know very well that there is a lot of work being put, a lot of information being given to players. Unai Emery cannot make an impact like that at a team like Arsenal. Why? Because he hasn't been able to sign, and he wouldn't ask for it, and it's not a decision anyway, to sign 5 top players in the world. And then to have an immediate impact that way. No, that's not why he's been brought to Arsenal. I completely agree with Gary Neville when he says that it's going to take 2 or 3, 4 windows to actually get a team that he likes to compete for the top. Right now, top 4 should be the target, and what I see is a team that gets into the pitch with more information. I'm going to be lucky enough to go to see Arsenal training the next few weeks, so I'll report back and I'll let you know what I see in more detail, but trust in Emery. Barcelona at Blaugrana 7754 says we're the favourites for the Champions League, and actually I say Barcelona. I said it in the podcast, in the 5 Live Euroleagues podcast. By the way, that's another thing I'll be doing this season, and I love radio. I absolutely love radio stroke podcasts. Perhaps it's the medium I enjoy the most. So there'll be a lot of me on that. And I did say there that it is Barcelona. When I saw the eyes and the voice of Messi as captain, talking to the fans and saying, this year we're of course going to go for the league, but the beautiful cup that is the Champions League is something that they dream of. He heard a lot of defeat against Roma, and now he feels himself Messi, and this is important because he reads the football well, knows what Barcelona needed, and he's happy with the squad, with Arthur, with Lenglet, Arturo Vidal, including as well the impression that Dembélé is doing. You've got there a team that actually can compete for every single competition. So keep an eye on Barcelona. And the last one from Arya Jujutsu. I know that guy. But he says, will Saul be a good fit at Manchester United? How will he improve this team? Now, let me tell you the story of Saul and Manchester United. When he was 18, I'll go a little bit further back. When he was 18, he was offered to Everton. And Everton decided that not the kind of player that they wanted, even though he was physically strong, 18, still developing, intelligent, good shoot with his left foot, and good coming from deep, a little bit of the things that you see now. A couple of years later, when he was at Rayo Vallecano, negotiations took place with Manchester United. Saul was talking to Manchester United. Manchester United eventually said, no, not the player we want. That summer, they went, at the end of that season, they went for Mata in a different type of, they wanted somebody to make an impact straight away. Then, later on, when Louis van Gaal arrived, actually Manchester United made an offer for Saul of 20 million euros, and Atletico Madrid said no chance. By then, of course, everybody had seen the potential of Saul, including Barcelona. He changed agents, if I'm not mistaken, he's with Jorge Mendes, and that means, of course, that he's got in his side not the idea of staying at Atletico Madrid forever, but quite clearly he wants to stay to Atletico Madrid to develop a little bit more. 23 years old, who can play the Simeone style, but can play the Barcelona style if needed. He's got a lot of quality, clever mind, he's strong. For me, he's the most complete midfielder we've had. He's a Luis Enrique type, for those that remember Luis Enrique, but he's better in his decision making and quality. So in the next couple of years, we'll be talking about perhaps one of the top, no, not perhaps, one of the top midfielders in Europe. What happens next, we will see, because Barcelona like him a lot. It's 150 million euros by a clause, though, and as I said, Barcelona cannot be spending that every summer these days. And I'm sure other clubs will want him. He is superb. Right now, he wants to stay at Atletico Madrid, but we'll keep an eye on that. And that's the story between Saul and Manchester United. And that is this week's Ask Guillem. There'll be more next week. On Thursday, of course, I'll be reminding you that if you have tweets or suggestions, bring them forward, send them to me via Twitter, at Guillem Balaguer, of course. And subscribe to the channel. Tell everybody that I'm back, in case it's of interest to anybody. And there will be more coming in this channel, so keep an eye on it. See you next week. Bye.